I got three things here. I got the judge ruled against the National Guard in California to enforce laws and make arrests. A judge has ruled so the national Trump can't use the National Guard in California. Also, House committee withdraws Robert Mueller's subpoena, and tariffs suffer legal setback. The legal fight over U.S. President Donald Trump's global tariffs is deepening after a federal appeal court ruled the levies were issued illegally under an emergency law, extended the chaos in global trade. So, I mean, those three things. So here we are. We're in the middle of the fight. Still, if it's fall, we're all anticipating something. Well, what can you give us, Juanito?
Well, some things. There's lots going on. By the way, let me just mention one thing. You remember we went to rallies, Trump rallies, and like that during all the Trump years. In the event, you couldn't wear anything with the number 17 letter of the alphabet on it. I don't know if they would.
Yeah, well, now that's out the window.
Well, hold on. You couldn't do that, and they never acknowledged anything. But Trump did a truth thing the other day, and he had a Q board on there, and he had a Pepe with a Q plus. The frog, Pepe the frog with a Q plus. So, all of a sudden, there's like no restriction on that. Trump has been very careful while he's made the air cues in the air. He's always been very, not tying himself to that project. And so all of a sudden to change course and allow this, even that he himself posted like that, that's kind of a big change. And it kind of lets you know where he's going in all of this.
What are we looking at here in September?
Well, I don't think you're going to see any arrests. I don't think you're going to see any arrests.
You don't think James Comey or John Brennan?
No, they're going to do all those after the Epstein hearings, September to October. And I think the end of October is where I've kind of pegged it at.
But nobody knows, right? Nobody really knows.
Well, no, there is nobody outside of, even inside. The guys are all left somewhat questioning. Within a certain category of legal investigators that's related to something other than the three-letter agencies, they have 150 investigators, detectives, you can put a couple different terms in front of it, that are working literally 16-hour days right now, preparing legal material related to their work product, their investigative product, and doing the interviews like that for indictments. And a number of those indictments have already been prepared and are being processed. But there's 150 of them. Now, you go over to, say, Justice Department, they got plenty of guys that are prosecutor types that can go present a case, but they don't have the investigators to prepare the case. Since they've been ripped out, they're trying to get those positions refilled. FBI is very thin on anybody able to do any investigative work right now. And the few that are there that are, for all intents and purposes, Trump people, that are just buried, and the rest are on somebody else's.
So getting ready to accept the prisoners. They're getting ready they're ready. They're getting ready right now.
Well, the way that you would maybe interpret that is, yes, it's going to be a Gitmo operation, not a Article 3 court. And so you wouldn't see it going to a normal criminal prosecution and a regular criminal grand jury and things like that. The crimes involved are treason, espionage. Now we have something that's huge within an espionage category. lots of different ways that these people have, gone against the United States or on the other team. That's very sad. When Gino says that he'd never believed what's going on here, it's so over the top people that you put your trust in and think would be, on our side. They're really working for the other side. I'll tell you right now, here's something. I'll break something for you. Nobody else on the planet has said what I'm about to say. I give you these gems all the time. Nobody, whatever. Nobody else can tell you this. I just, but I'll throw it out there. And it's being for food right now. I'm just thinking what I want to say and what I don't. I think I'll pull one part of it back. Then people actually know what they're talking about if I'm talking about. I'm going to put something out in the wind here. We heard about the pallets of cash going to Iran.
Yeah, with Obama.
Okay. Obama. And in fact, the pallets were transferred on aircraft. We saw the planes on the tarmac there at Tehran like that. Those aircraft were literally hijacked from a businessman who FBI, CIA, DEA, all these different agencies literally stole his companies to use for their own operations and were blackmailing the guy. And he didn't do anything wrong. He just, he thought he was helping with something that was DEA early on. All of those agents involved in those three-letter agencies, some of them have already figured it out and they're lawyering up. Many of them are going to jail for the rest of their lives because of what they did under the color of authority.
They didn't know, though. Some of them did not know what they did, right? They were just trying to go.
Every last fucking one of them that was there doing what they did knew exactly what they were up to. Okay, they did it because they could, and they gained personally. And wait till the IRS gets to go over their tax returns.
Wow.
It's going to be epic.
So they're going to audit the IRS?
Some of them are IRS people. We're all involved in it to cover up the crimes, what they're doing. We got it all. We got every last piece of it, man. I'm telling you, when you see it, you're just like, no way. Nobody could be this blatant, this dumb, this ass.
Well, who did they ever think would challenge him?
Well, but that's the whole point. If Hillary had won, if Kamala had won beyond Biden himself, they might never have had to worry about it. Even now, right now, these people believe that Trump's going to be dead in 2 years. He won't be relevant, and they're all going to be okay. They just have to survive a couple of years. That's why we have to do the first arrest and make it real. Start showing them going. But let me tell you something else, okay? So nobody else has ever put this out on the air. Here's the other thing that Obama did. As he was getting to the end of his presidency, I won't even give too many specifics here. I'll know who's real and who isn't. Obama had 3,400 pallets of cash that the Federal Reserve printed up $100 million to a pallet, okay? In a very custom specialized type of pallet, by the way, that wasn't the same as other pallets that are out there in other parts of the world. And 3,400. Now, here's the tricky part. A certain politician out of New York, very, very famous politician, had his own dock workers from New York, from the gangs in New York, the mobs in New York, come down to the Baltimore shipyards. They kicked all the longshoremen out and loaded these pallets onto 2 different boats. and very unusual. A little union thing, a wink and a nod, because they didn't want everybody to know what's going on this thing. So 3,400 pallets at $100 million each pallet. And
How
they
many
took
pallets?
off
How many pallets again?
3,400.
Damn.
Okay. And where do you suppose they were going?
All to Iran?
No.
China.
Remember, Obama authorized this money to be printed and shipped. And you have to think about
definitely not to Israel. So Iran to Kenya?
No. China.
Boom. Yeah, that was my next guess.
Okay. But along the way, funny thing happened on the way to China. They got intercepted. So all of that is sitting in two countries right now. And they're trying to get the cash loose. Okay. So Obama had to do other stuff to make sure China had the money to cook the vote. They were getting paid to steal the elections here in the U.S.
Wow.
Okay. And, you know, who all's involved, how that happened. Well, I know what the New York politician is. I know what the connection is to the unions. These guys are in serious deep shit. This is go to prison for the rest of your life, maybe even treason hang up. Okay. All of that was done. Remember, this is in the same time period as Obama has the FBI people and Brennan setting people up to go into Trump's campaign and to capture Trump's campaign, to honeypot people in Trump's campaign. Remember, this is the same time period when Pat Byrne was asked by his handlers over the FBI to see if Hillary would take a bribe, because they'd heard. And then when she did agree to a bribe, they said, forget about it, don't do it. Why? Because once they had her on tape, then they had everything they needed to control her. Okay? So it wasn't about catching her and convicting her and taking her out from being a presidential candidate. It was about being able to control her after she took office. Obama and the people behind Obama. It wasn't fully agreed to, technically, to do the military operation to interfere with the digital communications into Serbia, where they were cooking the vote. And by the way, I've said this before, Pat Byrne said it. The building in Serbia where the Venezuelans and the Cubans and the Chinese did the electronic steal of the vote in 2020, Brennan is half owner on that building with the wealthiest person, probably wealthiest person in Serbia. They own that building jointly. Imagine Brennan owns half of the building, half interest in the building that was used to steal the vote in America 2020. Okay? And he's one that was controlling Obama in much of this, and then senior executive service. That'll come out further in the future. So, but that's kind of stuff that it'll be coming out over the course of the year.